It's the country's #1 RVing radio show, sponsored by RVTravel.com, with your host, Alan Warren, the RV Wingman.
And welcome to our After the Show, everybody, where we can pretty much do whatever we want without the constraints of radio stations and a network clock. Alan Warren here, the RV Wingman, inviting you, if you haven't already, to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the best way to stay connected with us. By the way, Goose is... He's waiting for phone calls on the other side. He's still answering phones on the other side of the bulletproof glass. Look at that. If you have a question about RV electricity, about electricity, like I said, RV electricity, the answer man is on our guest line, and we can take your calls. Phone number 1-855-296-7469. Mike Sokol, thanks for being with us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad the video is working out. This is good so far. We've got about 20 seconds into it. Let's just hope we can keep going, right?
That's what we can only hope for.
All right. So do you mind if we start out with a couple of questions from listeners?
Anything you like. I'm here for you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Patricia sent in and she asks, she says, what do you recommend in terms of surge protectors? Are the more expensive ones really worth the extra cost?
Yes, absolutely. So you can divide them up into the inexpensive ones, which are surge protectors only, and they're generally $75 to $100. And then the more advanced ones are what they would call EMS, or advanced surge protectors. And they actually monitor voltage. You can disconnect you from your RV from power if it gets out of hand. So, and they're closer to $200 to $300 or so. But absolutely, if you're going to protect your RV, you really want to get an EMS advanced surge protector. You just do.
It's peace of mind for the RVer, because if you don't have one, that's when you're going to wish you had it, and you could suffer many, many thousands of dollars of damage, couldn't you?
Easily, in seconds. And, this could be something caused by the campground power itself, or if you casually plug into somebody that had just wired up a nice 30 amp outlet on the side of their house for you, and you plug it in and accidentally they wired it for 240 volts like a dryer outlet. That takes out RVs every day.
So in terms of extension cords, plugging into the RV, I've seen, and this is Patricia asked about it kind of in a roundabout way, but I see a lot of up at our campground that are very, very, very long. They say, don't you want to have your extension cord to your RV as short as you could possibly have it?
You do. And, the real issue is that if you double the length of the cord, you are going to double the voltage drop you have. It's just simple arithmetic. So I see sometimes people have got 50, 75-foot cords when they could have got away with a 10 or a 20-footer. The shorter it is, the less voltage that you lose. And you don't have a lot of extra voltage many times at campgrounds to begin with, so you don't want to lose it in a long extension cord.
Okay, I have a situation that happened up at Big Chief. One of our lady that has an RV up there, she's one of our extended stay guests, and she had her surge protector, and her surge protector literally, it just fried. I mean, out of the clear blue, everything's working great. It just fried. Nobody else had a problem. Nobody else had a surge. Nothing. It just and it was gone. It was over. And it literally, I think we've got a picture of it. We've got it on the. Have you got the picture up? All right, she's pulling the picture up. But it literally kind of melted, Mike. Any idea what could cause something like that? Is it the campground's fault? Was it a bad surge protector?
Well, and I think that was the picture that you had sent me a week or so ago, correct?
Yes.
And so what we see and things like that is it's generally bad. It's poor maintenance on the part of either the campground, if it's the pedestal that you're plugging into, or the operator or the owner themselves, simply because they really should be sprayed with contact spray periodically, at least once a season, maybe once a month. And a lot of times people leave these things out in the open where they get moisture inside of them. That causes corrosion. So generally speaking, on something like that, it's either the contacts themselves, the spring contacts, were damaged, by somebody like jamming things into them. Pulling the plug in and out while it's under load is one way that you can also damage it. Or, the plug itself is corroded. The male plug itself was corroded by laying out on the ground, and when you plug it in, it starts to overheat and it just melts it down.
Well, I had about a $400 golf cart repair one time, and the people told me that it was the way I was hooking up the battery charger to it, and I guess it's similar with RVs. I've told RVers, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. And what I'm saying is, before you plug your RV into the power pedestal, shouldn't the power at the pedestal be off to begin with?
Absolutely correct. You really want to power off the circuit breaker, plug in, and then turn it back on. If you're plugging in and out under load, what you're going to do is create arcing, and all those pretty sparks you see are basically all the metal on your plug and your outlet being destroyed. And it only takes a few dozen times like that all of a sudden now you've lost contact and the thing will overheat.
Yeah, I've mentioned it. I can't tell you. I probably said it 50 times over the last 5 years. And to people suggesting, trying to be nice, and say, I never ever heard of that. Well, you're going to hear about it. I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but sometimes people just don't want to listen. So, all right, folks, we have Mike Sokol with us. He is an RV electricity genius. Mike is a contributor to RVTravel.com, and he's got a very, very loyal following of RVers that need answers to their questions about RV electricity. So, what's this I hear about NEC and the code for next year is changing and how that's going to affect RVers? Talk to me about that, Mike.
Oh, yeah. Well, the National Electrical Code is actually held by an entity called the NFPA. And every 3 years, they create a new code cycle, they call it. And so we're due for the 2020 electrical code. And the code is a good thing. It really, truly is. A lot of people are working on this, trying to protect us and make everything safer. But in the 2020 code, somebody got the idea that it would be great to put GFCIs on the 30 and 50 amp outlets on pedestals and require this to be on basically every pedestal that in the United States, which would be not only expensive, but it's ill-advised simply because you'll start getting all kinds of nuisance trips in that position. And that's just because all of your devices in your RV leak a little bit of electricity to ground, and it's additive. And you get enough things kind of hooked up on the same single GFCI, it's going to trip. And my belief is that that once that trips in somebody's RV and they figure out that now they come back after a day, on a day trip, and they find out that their poor dogs have been inside and the air conditioner is dead and hot, or their refrigerator is full of spoiled food, they'll figure out real quick that they can get a bypass this by breaking off the ground pins on their shore power cord.
So is this only on new campgrounds that are being developed, or is it going to be retroactive?
I don't know. This is up to local inspectors. So the thing that's interesting about the National Electrical Code, it is not really a national law. It's not a law in any way, shape, or form. It's a suggestion. And every state and every county has somebody that's basically your electrical inspector, called an AHJ, for the authority having jurisdiction. And if he or she wants to press the point, they could go back and say, anytime you add one new pedestal to a campground, just like in your home, we're going to say, we would like you to bring the entire thing up to code, and that's going to require changing and putting 30 and 50 amp GFCIs on everywhere. But it's not a good idea for a bunch of reasons. Some of them I just mentioned.
So NEC ought to really be NES, the National Electrical Suggestion Code?
Well, here's the thing. Your insurance company and legal departments and all kinds of other things actually utilize the National Electrical Code. It does not have the weight of law, but somebody can use it in a court. So what I'm saying is, it's not something to be taken lightly. It is not like the speed limit that you're not supposed to break. It is, in fact, a set of really, really good suggestions. each state then can say when they're going to adopt the code and which parts they may choose not to adopt. So it's a confusing kind of thing because every time you drive to a different state and hook up to a different campground, you are in a different code district. It's just how it works. It's always been like that.
Okay, how am I, the RVer, if I travel from here to yonder, how am I supposed to know if they've got this change made on the pedestal I'm getting ready to plug into? Is there going to be a sign, a big sticker that says warning? Is there, I mean, what do I do?
You'll see it. It'll be obvious. There'll be, just like you have like a test button on your regular 20 amp outlet, you would see them on a 30 or a 50. There would be test buttons on there. Now, again, it's not dangerous, but there's a much higher probability that you will have a random trip during the day off the 30s and 50s. And I know this too because a number of state campgrounds have gone and put 30 amp GFCIs throughout the whole campground, and people are complaining it's just causing random trips.
You know, it's very scary to me when you mention about, you know, overheating and stuff. People leave, and we had a incident at Big Chief a couple of years ago that some lady we'd never had a problem ever, and her air conditioner just boom, I don't know why, it just shut off, and one of her dogs died. Dehydration, just got overheated and died, and nobody knows what happened. We had the whole pedestal checked and everything was okay, but the thing was left alone for hours, and I mean, it's just heartbreaking, terrible.
One of the companies that I've been working with, actually, I think it's called RV Whisperer, and it allows you to monitor a bunch of parameters, including the voltage coming in, the air temperature inside, and a bunch of other things, and it will send that information to your cell phone via Wi-Fi connection, cell connection. Yeah, so you would actually get a warning if you were out camping, you know, if you're out hiking, and all of a sudden the power goes off to your RV, you would know it immediately, which I think is real important. I don't think you should ever leave a dog unattended in an RV just and hoping that the air conditioner stays on.
Oh,
you just can't trust the power that much.
So have you got a link to that product, or I guess it's an app and a product, because that would be, I think, critical.
It's an app and a product. If I will put that up there for you later. I don't have this with me. I'm actually in a hotel room right now. I don't have anything around me except me.
Well, you know what? I can probably check with our buddy Chuck over at RV Travel and get the link and put it up, because I think, that's something everybody, if you travel with a pet.
He won't know about this yet. This is brand new technology.
Is it?
Yeah, it's brand new, but I actually have a demo version of it sitting on my desk, a few hundred miles away. But I would be glad to actually discuss that in a future program if you would like.
I would love that
sort of technology.
Yeah, I would love that. So all right. So I hear that you're getting ready to hit a milestone in 2020, Mike Sokol, in terms of your connection with RV Travel. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, it will be my 10th year of actually writing for the RV industry, because I looked just a few weeks ago, and I said, all my first stuff was like in 2010. Let me see if I can do this action 2020, 2010. It'll be 10 years of writing, specifically for the RV industry. Isn't that kind of cool?
I think it's amazing. I mean, it's like, how many times can you write about electricity? But you've done it hundreds of times.
I think Diane at RV Travel says I have something like 600 things published on RV Travel. And you remember, I'm a writer. I mean, I write for the pro audio industry, and I've been writing for them for 35 years. I have, I don't know how many thousands and thousands of articles in print. So I love to write. I do. But there's no shortage of questions to write about, because I get them constantly from the readers.
As I said, folks, Mike is an RV electricity genius, and I am not kidding. And if you subscribe to RV Travel, you can do a search in the search bar there, and you can look for anything and everything. And it is so interesting. Most of the time, I think, Mike, we don't, we take electricity for granted, and it's not until we have that problem when we start realizing, it's like, I ask, what does a mistake feel like? It doesn't feel like anything until it hurts. So anyway, if you have not yet subscribed, folks, go to rvtravel.com/radio. It's a free newsletter, the greatest newsletter on the planet for RVers. I'm telling you, rvtravel.com/radio. So, all right, I also have a question as a campground owner. Is there a piece of equipment that I and other campground owners should have, that I should do random checks from time to time of the pedestals throughout our campground? Tell me about it.
Oh yeah, there absolutely is. So a company called Ideal makes something that's called a Sure Test Analyzer. They're not cheap. They're about $300, but they're the size of a basic just a regular meter you plug in, and they can tell you so much in seconds.
Really?
And it's just a matter of having the correct kind of adapters, for 30 or 50s, and they work great. They really, really do. And they tell you all kinds of voltage drops, everything.
Why do electrical problems arise? I mean, stuff just wears out, or why does this stuff happen?
Lack of maintenance. And most people don't realize, those poor pedestals live kind of a sad existence, out in the weather, and people plugging in and out of them while the power's on and jamming things in them and breaking them. And people run over pedestals and pull away while their power's still hooked up. They really should be cleaned and tested. I've been a proponent for years of doing like a yearly check of every single pedestal with something like a Sure Test Analyzer. And then you could just, we do it at home. When my furnace guy comes out every year and checks my furnace and hangs a little tag on it and says, your furnace is good to go for another year. Mm-hmm. I don't know of a single campground that does that.
What about your stray voltage patrol? Is that sort of what they do?
Stray voltage patrol is giving me ideas on where these things are happening, so we can do spot checks. So I'm looking for hot spots. But right now I'm trying to automate this. I'm getting ready to move that over into kind of a bulletin board system. There'll be a closed system for those members. But the idea here is they'll be able to compare notes, post pictures to each other, and kind of keep track of what's going on. But again, it's tricky because, some campgrounds don't want to seem to know about this. And in fact, I had a call the other day from somebody that's a member of a campground association. I won't mention his name just at this point, but basically this campground guy that's said, what's causing all these problems are those stupid surge protectors. He said that's making them draw more power.
Really?
That's why they're burning up.
That's not true, though, is it?
No, that's not true at all.
All right, so tell me about your Facebook group. I mean, you started not long ago, and man, this thing's on fire.
I think I've got like 3,400 users in just like 3 months or something. But the thing that's really, really interesting is if you go look on some of these other groups whose names I will not mention, when somebody poses an electrical question, there's all these wild, crazy, stupid comments and people bashing on each other. But on my RV electricity group, they're almost always right, and they're actually using my articles. And they say, well, Mike says this, and here's a picture from that Mike posted, and here's a graphic. So what that means is that my regular readers are getting really, really smart about electricity, so they can answer questions for other RVers who don't know yet, which I'm very, very proud of them. It's amazing how much they know, and they're doing all of the appropriate answers. And I still basically have to monitor them, and some of these things get kind of crazy, but they're my students.
But you know what, Mike?
Yelling at me, saying this isn't a freaking classroom, and I said, I'm sorry, it is a classroom, and if you don't like it, you may leave.
Something else about your electricity group is that I have not seen one argument where people are yelling at each other, calling people names. They're really, truly trying to help each other, that's right. And in the beginning, I had a couple guys that wanted to act like kind of jerks, and I gave them one warning, and then I just kicked them off. And so I treat this, I'm a college professor. I'm an adjunct professor. I teach 1 or 2 days a week. And I would never allow students to do that in my classroom. Everybody has to treat each other with respect. And if not, I just kick them out of the class. I do the same thing on here, and I weed out anybody that doesn't want to play nice. There's plenty of places to go on the internet and vent your opinion. This is not an opinion site. This is a science site. This is a classroom site. Because if we do something wrong, people get hurt. Yeah, there's so much. There's great information and a lot of terrible information. But to the untrained person, and I am not a very smart person, some of the bad info sounds like, oh, well, that sounds logical to me, and it can get you hurt in a hurry.
It really can. It can be dangerous. It can be expensive to make expensive mistakes. It can be dangerous for you and your loved one and your pets. And so I quickly correct it. And, if you notice, I basically just, when somebody does something, I just say, well, you're wrong. This is how it actually works. I never say that you're stupid. I never say that, you you don't belong here. Mm-hmm. If somebody says something that's incorrect, I just correct them. This is exactly like I do in my classroom. With my 20-year-old students.
But you got 3,400 of them that hang on your every word. All right, so tell me what you got going on at the Hershey RV show that's coming up right around the corner.
Okay, lots of fun at Hershey. So first off, I'm going to be doing a closed session on Monday that none of you guys know about, and that's going to be an RV technician training session, which I think is really kind of neat. You cannot come unless you happen to be a member of the PRVCA, group or whatever. Then at the Hershey show from Tuesday through Sunday, every morning from 9:30 to 10:30, I will be doing a free seminar over in the big hall. I think I'm not in the champion room. I'm in the one room down underneath beside it or whatever. I can't remember where. And that will be a basic electricity class, which I will have those, 5 days in a row, same class each day. And then on Saturday, Chuck and we've rented a hotel room because Hershey doesn't have enough room to let me have 3 hours. And we're doing an advanced RV workshop about electrical troubleshooting and training. And it's just a couple miles, 5 miles off campus. We have to charge for that. I think it's $125 for non-members and $100 for RV travel subscribers. But we have to pay for the hotel room and all kinds of other stuff to make it happen. Sadly, we can't do that one for free, even though I would love to. We just don't have enough sponsorship.
Well, let me ask you this, and we're going to kind of wrap this up. You started writing about electricity, RV electricity, a decade ago. How has the interest in what you write about changed? Has it always been there? Is it more and more people are getting deeper and deeper into it? And what are your thoughts about that?
They really are. In the beginning, remember, I had to invent a lot of names for things. So I invented the hot skin test procedure that we're currently using. And I also discovered and named the reverse polarity bootleg ground miswiring conditions. And in the beginning, everybody kind of thought that it was silly, but now it's not silly at all. And it's interesting because I can look, a lot of the manufacturers are following everything that I'm doing. And so I've done a little bit of consulting work, but the key here is I'm really there for readers out there. And I'm trying to help the RV industry build better products, one way or the other. So,
and I know that you've been contacted by some of the biggies that are calling you in on some major projects, which I just think it's we are so blessed, and I'm so grateful that you will take the time to spend with our listeners and our viewers, because you are one busy, sought-after man.
Well, I'm glad to be here for you. In fact, I'm getting ready to fly down to Tampa, Florida, the lightning capital of the world, on a lightning issue. That's all I can say.
I'll be dang. Did you see that thing on the video on that golf course over in Georgia? I think it was the PGA.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Talk about whacking people.
Yeah. Lightning is really interesting stuff, and I've been up close and personal to it a couple of times. It's completely unpredictable what it's going to do. So you got to be safe around lightning.
All right, listen, we're going to wrap this up. What is the best way for people to stay connected with you, Mike Sokol?
Join, if you're a Facebook user, join up to my RV electricity group on Facebook. But certainly you should subscribe to rvtravel.com, where I'm there every Saturday and also like Monday or Tuesday. Now I've also started a jam session. Just Ask Mike. JAM. Yeah. Jam session. So you can subscribe to that, and also my monthly newsletter, RV Electricity. Subscribe to that, and I've got new stuff coming out all the time.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us, and we will catch you again soon. All right, Mike?
Very, very good. Thank you so much.
You betcha. You take care. All right, folks, that is Mike Sokol. If you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor. It's free, and it's quality information. rvtravel.com/radio. Again, rvtravel.com/radio. Mike he's a busy guy, but he always takes time to answer RVers. So anyway, nobody is busier than he is, I promise you. And if you get a chance to go to the Hershey RV show coming up pretty soon, you need to check him out. If you like this interview, we hope that you will hit the like button. If you're catching it on YouTube, that you will give us a thumbs up and maybe even hit the subscribe button. And ding the bell, all right? Thank you for riding along with us today. We do appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, and remember, don't leave those good manners at home. So long, everybody.
The